Donald Trump sparks a brand new international feud, but not to worry, it's only with our second biggest trading partner. This is just another day. Like most men whose wives find them physically repulsive, Donald Trump always needs a few projects to occupy his time. You know, some home renovation, some interior design, and most recently, starting fights with the neighbors.
Trade talks with Canada are now on ice.
Okay, quick word. Just because the story takes place in Canada does not mean you are required to make a pun on the word
trade talks with Canada now on ice.
As I was saying, you don't need to.
Trade talks with Canada are now on ice.
Why? No, really, I'm genuinely asking the question, are journalism schools around the country teaching students that any story about a country which has a climate only slightly colder than Minneapolis must make a lazy reference?
Trade talks with Canada are now on ice.
For the love of God, if the next clip about trade talks with Canada makes a pun on the word ice, I am going to jab this trenchant blade directly into my beating heart, and I will gladly bleed out to the horrific sounds of senseless, uninteresting wordplay.
Trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada are heating up again.
Better? Let's hear what's actually going on.
The president says he terminated all trade talks with Canada over an ad run by the government of Ontario that uses part of a speech by President Ronald Reagan.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. But over the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer.
Damn, a foreign country using a Republican hero against them. This is worse than that time Iraq tried to convince Bush not to invade by using Walker Texas Ranger clips. Dare I ask what Trump finds so completely abhorrent about this ad?
Essentially, in this post on True Social, he said that he believes that the ad was fake, that the message was fake, that the Canadian government was playing with this ad.
I'm sorry, but Donald J. Trump has a problem with the fakeness of an ad? Yeah, the king of authenticity, who posts AI videos of himself dumping mountains of shit on protesters, AI videos of himself gleefully watching Obama get arrested, and AI videos of himself and Russ Vought celebrating billions of dollars being cut from federal workers, thinks it is reprehensible and amoral to put fraudulent material out to the public. Nice try.
The president calls the ad fake. It's not fake. Reagan did make the 5-minute speech, and the audio in the ad matches its official White House transcript. However, the audio is edited in the 1-minute ad. Last night, the Reagan Presidential Library weighed in, writing the ad misrepresents the presidential address, and the government of Ontario did not get permission to use it, adding it's looking into potential legal action.
Legal action? Because Canada used Reagan's words? Ah yes, wouldn't want to desecrate the sacrosanctity of the words of Ronald Wilson Reagan, a guy who, if alive today, would get dragged out of the RNC by his ears for being too liberal. How dareth someone misconstrueth the words of a man who would net just below Ted Cruz's neckbeard in a Republican primary? But also, this ad may have changed the orders of Reagan's statements, but it didn't edit his words to misinterpret what he was saying. That would look like this.
Millions of high people made Washington shrink and collapse.
I can't believe Reagan would disparage millions of high people like that. In that 1987 radio address, and by the way, for anyone born after 2010, a radio is just Spotify with less choices. And for anyone born before 1960, Spotify is just a radio on your phone. And for anyone born before 1940, Oriental is a highly inappropriate term. But in that 1987 radio address, Reagan was warning Congress not to pass protectionist trade legislation and was warning about the pitfalls of protectionism in general terms. So I'm sorry, but you cannot profess your love for someone and then turn your back on them the minute they mess with your fragile ego. Or at least you can't do it a fourth time. Donald Trump is simply mad that, unlike countless universities and law firms and media organizations and tech CEOs, someone had the balls to fight back against his autocratic agenda. And is it really such a surprise that Canada would hit back after hearing this?
Look, what I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state. So I'd love to see that, but some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right, it would be 100% certain that they'd become a state. But a lot of people don't like to play the game because they don't have a threshold of pain.
Yes, apparently that threshold for pain is they made a meanie commercial about me. I have to say, the thing about Donald Trump blowing up a deal with our country's second largest trading partner because they made an ad he didn't like is that women are too emotional to be president. We sure did dodge a bullet with that one, am I right? Our country is being led by the most insecure man on the planet, and the people who suffer most from his massive insecurity are everyday Americans. It is no secret that everyone in Trump's orbit knows he needs his ass kissed so he doesn't get cranky and throw a tantrum.
Let me just say, Mr. President, that this country was going to die without you.
And our country has never been so secure thanks to you.
You are really the transformational president of the American worker.
It is a personal honor to be able to witness the way you lead and negotiate. I wish people had a full understanding of what that looks like.
Don't worry, Pete. I think we've got a full understanding. It's just a series of different rooms filled with cult-like sycophants who've descended from the protective warmth of Trump's colon to readily boost his frighteningly low self-esteem during commercial breaks of Fox News. But whatever is driving Donald Trump, small penis, to need a constant string of compliments, billions in wealth, and unimpeachable power, we're talking a baby's pinky toe here, only makes things worse for everyone else in this country. Donald Trump's need to feel tough is why he launched a chaotic trade war with the world that has resulted in a tax on American consumers. His never-ending quest for riches is why U.S. taxpayers are footing the bill for his grift on the Department of Justice. His desire to buddy up with oligarchs and be in the cool guy billionaire club is why they get a tax break, but 17 million Americans lose access to Medicaid, millions of low-income households are seeing their food assistance cut, and our entire agriculture sector is getting sold out to Trump's pal in Argentina. Trump's agenda has raised the cost of electricity, the cost of groceries, and the cost of housing for millions of Americans. And what do conservatives want from this travesty of an administration? A longer run.
At the appropriate time, we'll lay out what the plan is. But there's a plan, and President Trump will be the president in 28. We had longer odds in 16 and longer odds in 24 than we got in 28. And President Trump will be the president of the United States, and the country needs him to be president of the United States. We have to finish what we started. And the way we finish it through Trump. Trump is a vehicle. I know this will drive you guys crazy, but he's a vehicle of divine providence. He's an instrument. He's very imperfect. He's not churchy, not particularly religious, but he's an instrument of divine will.
Divine will? If we are currently experiencing God's plan, I'd hate to find out the plans he tossed aside. Donald Trump does not care about providing an ounce of relief for Americans who need it most. He is an unhinged, uncaring, power-hungry autocrat with a heart so cold it's practically
on ice.
Where's my knife? Before you go, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we are now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they are willing to cater to this administration. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a way for me to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link right here on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support me and my team. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.